So I was sitting on my dock this morning having coffee, and it occurred to me as I was looking around if I was a homeowner and I had just called some guy like Mike Derenthal to say, hey, I'm thinking about putting my lakefront house on the market. Can you come out and take a look at it? Tell me what you think. I looked around and realized there were quite a laundry list of things that this homeowner here at this house needs to tackle if they were getting ready to put their house on the market. Now, disclaimer, could be here another 10, 20 years, who knows? You never know what life's going to throw your way. But one of the things I get involved with a lot, especially with lakefront owners, is helping them kind of best position, prepare, and get their home ready to sell quickly and for top dollar. And I looked around realizing that this might make an interesting video to kind of walk you through some stuff here that would be in need of work so we can kind of see what's important and what's not. So, it's not uncommon when I go to a lakefront home, whether it's already on the market or somebody's getting ready to put one on the market, the house will look fantastic. They may have repainted, they may have staged it, they've got it all, all spruced up and ready to go. And then you get down to the lake, and the lakefront and the dock and everything that's going on down there in the yard a lot of times can be neglected and almost an afterthought. And that's a big mistake in my opinion, because when you're selling waterfront, as we've talked about before, you're selling the lifestyle. People make the investment, spend a lot more money for that piece of real estate because they want the lifestyle. They want, people say they're looking for their dream home. Really what they're looking for is the place where they're going to make their dream memories. And they might not realize that, but that's really kind of what it's all about. And so that's important that we get this setting down here on the waterfront and kind of the whole outdoor lifestyle component really tuned up and hitting on all cylinders. So I'm going to walk through some of the things here on my property that would need to be done. And I'm going to close a little bit kind of talking about some of the, not necessarily the tactical objective side of it, but I think some of the subjective emotional components that come up when a person is trying to get ready to sell and basically move on from a place that does hold so many fond memories. So we'll go in a few different directions here. So basically, let's start with the dock here. So this dock, I rebuilt this dock probably about 10, 11 years ago now, and it is due for, as a minimum, pressure wash and some fresh sealant on this deck. There's an argument to be made that some of these deck boards are ready to be replaced. This dock furniture here, super comfortable. I like it. It's a little torn up. It's a little dark and failing a little bit. Swing set there is in good shape. These old lights, I hung these lights when I first bought this place, and they have slowly failed. To be honest with you, I kind of like it because it doesn't light up super bright down here at night. It kind of has a dim, little, kind of a moody feel to it, which I like. It's kind of but if I was getting ready to sell this, all that old stuff would need to come down. Make this look nice, fresh, clean, not like a maintenance issue, look like easy living. That's what we're selling. I've got some, my plants over there that got zapped by the freeze in February. I haven't replanted those yet, so we'd want to get those spruced up looking really nice and pretty. Now, this thing right here, this is worth talking about. That is a floating dock that I built for my girls right when we bought the property. One of the first things I did out here, and I have some amazing memories attached to that floating dock. They would push it out into the lake, play last man standing. We got some great pictures of them out there with the dog, all sorts of stuff, birthday parties, a lot of stuff associated with that floating dock. That floating dock is not going to add a bit of value to this property if we were to put it on the market right now. That's if I was a realtor speaking with myself as a seller, that's a conversation I'd have to have. What's happening to the floating dock? And whether you clean that thing up or get rid of it entirely, you're having to kind of acknowledge that stage, the memories that are attached to that stage of life is now behind you. And that's what you're going to see comes up a lot of times on lakefront properties when you're trying to help somebody get them prepared and ready to hit the market. There's some real kind of emotional hurdles that you're crossing to get the house ready to go. I'm almost afraid to show you this next one. That is my super aeronautique boat. I love that boat, and I hate to show it publicly right now because it is mildewed. It hasn't been used in over a year. And if I was going to sell this house, that thing would shine like the top of the Chrysler building, so to speak. I'd make sure it started up, ran strong. It probably still does because that's been an amazing boat. But that's the kind of stuff that if I'd be doing myself a disservice if I was putting this house on the market right now and not making all this stuff behind me just look fantastic. Like, I just sit out here and I watch the sunsets. I have cocktails. I take my friends and the kids out on the boat. It's easy living. And that's one of the dirty secrets of this business. When we're selling a property, we are, it needs to be less about square footage and age of the roof and all that stuff, and more about the lifestyle and the things that you're going to do with, the memories you're going to make at a property, especially when you're talking about waterfront. You saw earlier, right now this time of year, we're having a pretty nasty algae bloom out there on the lake. And so, I would not want to show the property with all that stuff out there. I happen to like the lily pads, the aquatic growth out there. I keep it natural. I like to have the fish and stuff that it attracts. I like this area over here by my banana that's kind of overgrown. If this was a property we're putting on the market, that would all be getting cleaned up. All be getting cleaned up. I've got, another thing that's nice about a lot of lakefront properties. Usually have some more property. I love these big trees I've got out here. All this Spanish moss that hangs down. Again, this does not look well groomed right now. And if I was going to advising somebody, this is the kind of stuff you want to make this look kind of tighten up and go for the larger slice of the pie, so to speak. Most people are going to you don't want to sell something that looks like it's a maintenance project. It's going to take longer to sell. You're going to get less money for it. I've got a fire pit over here, which, again, a lot of memories attached to that fire pit. You're going to see, I'm going to tell you where we're going with all this memory stuff, but a lot of very fond memories of s'mores, the girls having parties over here. We had live music out back. We would do, I've cooked out all the time on the back patio. All these are areas that are great selling features of the house. It's part of what attracts somebody to a property like this, and part of the why you make that investment in the first place. But they are also, it's what I find interesting is these things are also where a lot of the memories are focused around. And people that have been on these properties for a number of years, it doesn't have to be waterfront. I find that waterfront properties, there's so much more that happens outside, out back, and with the water, that the memories run pretty deep. And sometimes I found when I'm working with sellers, a lot of times the reason the boat doesn't get cleaned up, the floating dock doesn't go away, the trees don't get trimmed back, it's because first of all, it's an acknowledgement that those times are in the past and you're getting ready to leave them, and that can be hard. And it also can sometimes feel like you're kind of you're kind of whitewashing the memory, so to speak, and it can be really tricky. When I first got in this business years ago, it was very transactional for me. I spent, most of my focus was on getting that next listing, finding that next buyer, getting the deal closed, earning a commission so I could pay my bills and earn a living. And at some point, something shifted, and I realized that I wasn't just selling homes. I was really at its core, getting called in by somebody to help them transition from one life phase to the next. Whether they had outgrown a house because they had more kids, whether they had reached a point financially where they could get that first lakefront house. Perhaps they were empty nesters. They didn't need the space anymore and they were having to let go of it and sell it, or maybe they're just elderly and can't physically take care of it. Each of those are pretty significant transition stages from one life phase to the next. And when I started looking at it like that and realized I'm getting called into somebody's family, getting called into somebody's situation to help them manage that process, wow, the business started to mean a lot more to me. And it's something that it's one of my favorite things. It can be one of the hardest things to deal with when you're trying to get somebody to think about something more from a more tactical perspective, more objective. But because those emotions are real. But when you're getting a property ready to sell, that's one of the things that's most important in terms of getting the financial return, is being able to look at these things and prioritize. Say, okay, what do we need to do first? What do we need to tackle? How do we need to best present this property so we can get it sold for top dollar, presuming that's your objective. Anyway, went off in a little bit of a different direction there, but if I can help you out with anything like this, you want more questions or you enjoy this content, please like and subscribe. Drop me some comments down below. If you're looking for lakefront property, you know where to go, floridalakefront.com. And if I can help you out with anything else, I'm Mike Derenthal. Thanks for watching.